I always tried to be some kind of a Web3 developer or do blockchain projects, but until the NFT hype in 2021, I personally didn't manage it. So because I think way less companies were into Web3 back then.
Welcome to the Never Employed Chat. My name is Sam, and I interview people who make a living beyond salary jobs, entrepreneurs, business owners, and investors, so that we can learn from their stories together. There are many great ways to make a living, and even more ways to wealth. At Never Employed, we encourage you to think of alternatives to employment jobs. What would you do if a salary job was simply no option?
Thanks for having me, Sam. It's nice to be here on your podcast and share my insights about how to be a freelancer and how to make Web3 projects. And to finally answer your question, yes, it's about, I think for me, the best way is about being a personal brand. So I've recognized LinkedIn as a main social media platform for me for building a personal brand. And that's obviously targeting to make business, of course. And so I try to be a personal brand somehow to get attention on social media, to get some interesting conversations with potential clients. And as you know, at one leads to another, I get also projects out of there. So for me, this is a number one sales channel, so to say, to be present on a social media platform, to build a personal brand, to get projects and to finally make business. Yeah. And as you said, I'm developing Web3 projects, but also blockchain projects, but also Web2 or 2.5 projects. So it's not everything Web3 only. And yeah, it's a lot about discussing with the client what the needs are. So basically communication and understanding what the client wants or has in his head is one of the crucial parts, because what the client has in his head and what he says and what I understand and what I get in my head are completely different things at each of this interception. And so this is a crucial part to really be able to talk with the client, to ask good questions, to understand what he wants, what he expects, what he imagines, and finally build something for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that communication plays a very crucial role, and consulting in general, right? So,
right, yeah.
How does such a typical project, or is there even a typical project in your industry, and how does it look like?
Yes, I personally like the projects most, which are, so to say, green fields. So where the client maybe has an idea and expectation, of course, and a target, but is completely open for discussion for the company to work with, for the exact way to go. So I don't like the projects where they, for example, have already 50 employees and 50 other external freelancers to work on, and where I am as a freelancer, so to say, are only one of 50. So it's not makes me personally not much fun to be one of a kind. So I like to be to bring in my own ideas, to build a project and product from scratch, to choose the right framework, technology, tool stack, you name it. So this is what I like most. And you can also some kind of educate your client. As you just mentioned, it's a lot about consulting and discussing and understanding and talking. And so when not everything is fully clear, it makes me personally a lot of fun to figure that out together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you already mentioned that you work from scratch, or that you like to work from scratch. So I saw that you mostly develop, or maybe not mostly, but that you also develop MVPs, especially for startups and companies like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Because I like personally, I'm from my characteristics, I like fast and good results, and I don't. So I'm more on the when you take the 80-20 rule, I'm more on the 20% effort and 80% result side than rather on the other side. So I'm not having a lot of fun when spending, I don't know, 80% of efforts when only seeing 20% of the results. So I'm more on the first rapid ramp up side. And this makes me fun, and therefore also the MVP development and proof of concept development makes perfect sense, because we can make very, very good progress with a very short time. And figure out if the project and the product idea is suitable for the clients. And if it is, and then we can hand over to maybe another team and also employees that I have now that are maybe doing then the finishing, so to say, in terms of design. So personally, I'm not a very design affine person. I don't like when you see my user interfaces. Yeah, it's you will run away because they are simply buttons one beneath the other to just try functionality. I don't have any design skills, so and therefore I like this prototyping approach. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that a prototype doesn't have to look nice, but we can figure out the functionality very, very fast and pretty soon, and so then the finishing I will hand over to people in my team. Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned that you meanwhile have employees or a team with whom you work. So what are the different tasks within such a project and within your team? So it sounds like you mostly start with a project and then hand it over to other team members later.
Yes. So yeah, since 2 months or something, I think 2 months, I have 2 people in my company. Before that, I was a single person company, and then I refounded to a limited corporation. So I did a lot of progress this year, I think. And yes, I like to, of course, do the project acquisition. So I like to talk to customers, as I mentioned before, like being a personal brand and getting traction and getting new projects. Then I also do the requirements engineering together with the client to really know what we do. Then so personally, my role is also to, as you said, ramp up project pretty fast and help my team basically to help the client. So I like to be a supporter. I don't see myself as a boss or something like this towards my employees. I see each of us on an eye level. I like to support them and provide them with everything they need in order to be happy and have fun in working for the client projects, because I think this makes the best results in the end. And so I see myself more like a supporter. And yeah, as you said, I'd like to ramp it up and then hand it over and help my people to finish it or bring it to a good point.
So this tells me that you are not this like a stereotypical engineer or a computer scientist who just wants to build things, but that you also like to be, as we already talked about, be in touch with customers and clients and to really consult and also do these management tasks, not only the development itself.
Yeah, right. I see myself more in the middle of being a developer. Also, how should I say? I am a developer, of course, because I also studied computer science. So I have all this background. But as you mentioned, I also like to talk to people, and that I like very much, to be honest. And yeah, I also love to do sales, some kind of, because I know when I do a sale, it's ending up in my company and in my wallet in the end. So I love this task as well. And I think as a freelancer, or basically as a agency owner, or I don't really know how I should call myself, but I think some kind of a Web3 dev agency or something. But I think you need to have some kind of a mixed personality or mixed roles, because only doing development, it's fine, but you won't get any jobs when you don't get out and say that you are here. So it's all about doing sales, doing marketing, doing personal brand building, doing development, doing accounting, and all the stuff. So all combined in one role. And the more you grow, I think, and at least this is what I experience now, the more you grow, the more you can also hand out roles to other persons. So maybe with the two people supporting me in my company, maybe I'm a little bit of a less developer and doing more of a leader role, or I don't know really, but definitely I will do sales because I think it's me representing my company at best. So I think nobody else can do it same that I can do. But yeah, so it's about, as you said, you need to be some kind of a multi-role person or
a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Okay. So you already started to talk about your background. Maybe do you want to tell a little bit more about your background and how you actually got started with all this Web3 and development in general?
Sure, I would love to do so. And I hope I don't borrow any listeners or viewers because I don't know where to start, but I will start at finishing my school. I had a technical school in Austria. So I don't know if I told this or you said I'm from Austria, and I did a technical school. Then I was employed as a key account manager, basically in a semiconductor business. So I was 6 years in sales. Then I recognized that I want to do engineering as well. And generally was a little bit unhappy with my job. My job didn't really, took over my full mental capacity. So I had a lot of time to think about other projects. And I also tried a startup in 2012, which failed in 2013 or something. And then I started to rethink about my future. And as I said, the willing to do also engineering grew, and so I started to study computer science at Vienna University of Technology. It was 2014. I quit my job, so I was a full-time student for 2 years. And then I started to be a part-time software engineer in several companies along the studies. I finished a bachelor degree in 2017 and started. Yes, is it true? Yeah, 17, and also started the master studies right after this and finished 2020. In 2017, so in the last course or something, I learned about blockchain also from a technology perspective. So of course, before that, we heard about it from a financial perspective. So with increasing prices and decreasing prices. But as a student, I didn't have a lot of money to invest. So I watched on the sidelines. But 2017, I digged into it from a technology perspective, and I was totally hooked by this amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing combination of several concepts that wasn't new, but the combination of it made it very unique. So it was totally fascinated. And yeah, since then I learned everything I could. So I took every course on university. I wrote my master and bachelor thesis in this topic and tried to be as much involved as I could. And then it was 2020, Corona came around the corner, COVID-19, and yeah, I was about to starting as a consultancy employee at a very big consultancy firm in Austria as a blockchain consultant. So it was I was quite excited about this. But then Corona, COVID-19 came around the corner and delayed my onboarding for a month, another month, and so on. So it was then May or April or something, May or June, basically. And this delaying also made me think about the reason why I also started to be to learn engineering because I want to build something. And this consultancy was not the right way. I was just blinded by this blockchain possibility to work with blockchain finally. But then I started to rethink about it and finally canceled this onboarding at this consultancy firm and started to be a freelancer. And since then, I developed several client applications. I always tried to be some kind of a Web3 developer or do blockchain projects, but until the NFT hype in 2021, I personally didn't manage it because I think way less companies were into Web3 back then as it is now. And I think those companies who were in Web3, they were bigger companies, I think, and they also went to other bigger companies to implement things. It was not, or personally, I as a freelancer, as a single person company, couldn't manage it to get some blockchain projects. And I'm finished in a few sentences. But with this big NFT hype from last summer or something, I think this totally changed the game. So basically, at least in my bubble somehow, everybody is into Web3. Every company wants to somehow explore Web3 and understand Web3 and try to understand what they can do with it. And this was a game changer somehow. And therefore, I tried also to position myself better as a NFT or blockchain or Web3 developer, whatever your term you use. But currently, NFTs are selling best, I think. And so position myself, try to be a personal brand since this spring, and doing now more and more Web3 and blockchain and NFT projects. So I use these terms always some kind of interchangeably because it's whatever person you met, it's everybody understands a little bit of a different thing about it. So yeah, long story short, I'm now a freelancer or basically business owner doing client projects in Web3 and also Web 2.5 or 2.25 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for giving this summary and this overview. And during this summary, you also mentioned that there are obviously ups and downs in prices, and especially if you look at cryptocurrencies and all this stuff. I wonder if this affects your work and the amount of projects on which you work. Do you feel that in times of high prices, crypto prices, or popular periods, you have more clients and less in other periods, or how is that?
Yes, I think this correlates. Of course, when the prices are high and everybody is super euphoric, also a lot of people come into this field that, so how should I say, they don't want to really make serious business. They want to get rich quick. These kind of people are obviously now gone, so they are not here anymore. So the quality, when you divide the numbers, the quality of leads or projects that are out there are way better, I think. But the amount is lower, of course, because as I said, getting rich quick, people are gone, and the others are here and they are building. So this is one side of the story. But to be honest, I also experience a little bit of a tougher time since, I don't know, a few weeks. And I'm not sure if this has to do with the FTX problem, but I don't know. So it's now getting a little bit more tough because before that, a lot of people were still in this market. They want to build, but they also had some kind of a waiting position. So they always said, okay, we are super interested. We have a serious budget and a problem to solve, and we want to do this. But somehow they waited. So I got a little bit less projects. Not it was not a problem, but I experienced that it's a little bit less. And now I think the waiting position is a little bit even more, what's the English word for this? A little bit more tight, So the screws are tightened up, so everything is waiting more and more, and people are uncertain, and the future is not so clear, at least for many people. So yeah, I think tough times, but still not a problem on my side. I have projects to build on, to work with. I have a lot of good leads and opportunities in my pipeline. But I also experienced that I need to do a little bit of more, the sales cycles are longer. So we have to talk more and, convenience the client that we can do the job, and that's a good idea to do it now and not to wait until the summer is again here in the crypto world. So because then everybody wants to build again, and then it's a trade-off, I think, or it has two sides now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you also mentioned these get rich quick people, and obviously you as a consultant don't want to work with people who don't really want to pay you, or first make money and then pay you, or something like that. But I mean, for many people, these terms like blockchain, Web3, and so on may sound, or maybe very related to people making quick money. You hear a lot about blockchain and NFT projects which make huge profits. And how realistic is that actually, or how valuable is something like that from your point of view?
You mean to make a lot of money pretty fast with an NFT project, for example, or?
Yeah, I think especially on social media platforms like YouTube, you see many people talking about these things, projects, opportunities to make profit in some way. I wonder how realistic is that, and how much value is in such projects compared to what you're actually working on. What differentiates the projects on which you work compared to and those get rich quick NFT projects or so?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I got your question. So finally, it's pretty hard. And why do I know this? I know this because I tried to do it on my own. So it was last November, last year. I tried to launch an NFT project together with a colleague of mine from the studies time. And because we simply saw so many people are getting rich, obviously, or this is what we saw on social media. And we thought about, okay, we are two developers, we can do the same. So let's do an NFT contract with a little bit of gamification features so that we are some kind of unique compared to most of the others back then. And simply make it, build it, launch it, and finally shout it out on Twitter. And we get sold out in a few days. So this won't be a big deal, we thought. But we, as you can imagine, we are two developers having no real marketing skills and brand building and social storytelling and all those stuff. So we didn't sell much. So I think 50 or something, but there were also some kind of giveaways from our side. So simply launching an NFT project and getting rich quick doesn't work, and didn't work for us at least. Also not last year. So I think this also won't work these days. You have to provide real utility, and this utility is also some kind of hard to figure out because simply getting an entry ticket for some, I don't know, events or getting some merch or something, yeah, is maybe cool, but doesn't really excite people these days. This was also maybe working 6 or 9 months ago, but now this is also hard. So you have to really figure out what you can contribute to the world or to your environment. This is the main question. So what problem do you solve with making use of Web3 and NFT or blockchain or whatever term you use, or whatever technology you use in the end? But so the core question is always, which problem do you solve and for whom? And those people, and also, to be honest, we last year didn't really ask us this question. So we just thought, launching an NFT project and making some money would be cool. Of course, it would be cool, but it didn't work. So yeah, this is it's a hard question. So I, for example, and this leads us maybe to the second part of your question. I, for example, work now with a startup from France that are trying to build a financial education platform where NFT is some kind of a crowdfunding instrument, but also an entry ticket for this platform. So some kind of a token gated environment you can call it like this. And another project, for example, I'm working on also on the long term is a project called Ethium. They are from Sydney, Australia. They are working on, or we are working on, bringing Web2 data to the Web3 world. So like some kind of like, imagine you have a heart rate monitor or something, or sports tracking system, and you generate a lot of data. And the question now is how you can also benefit from this data. And they want to also make this data usable, so to say, in a metaverse. So they are also working on a lot of research questions together with me. And we're trying to figure out how we can some kind of transport this Web2 data we generate, or also data from the real world, into a digital virtual world, some kind of a metaverse or something, and make you as a user who generates this data also benefits out of it. So this is a kind of a project and long-term project, and yeah, I'm working on it at the moment.
Yeah, this sounds quite exciting, actually, and some more sophisticated than just creating like art or something like that. Would you say that there are really use cases for blockchain, and to which extent are there use cases compared to Web2 technology?
Yes, that's a pretty good question, and this is also what I was thinking of about it the last month. So why did blockchain, it exists now since 10 years or something, or 12 years or 14 years, why did blockchain not really had this really killer application now? So maybe it's a kind of, so with Bitcoin, maybe you have a store of value or something. You can execute decentralized code with Ethereum or something, but I don't know about you, but I think the real killer application is, at least in maybe Central Europe, not yet here. So we have a lot of exploration and trying out and figure out, but Web3 and blockchain makes some kind of many things better, of course, because of giving away or taking over ownership. This is good, but it makes it also better, not better, I want to say. And this is also some kind of speed and scalability. So transactions are slow and it costs a lot of money, maybe on Ethereum, for example, and this is the downside. And people want, I think, the people want to have the best of both worlds without having the downsides that this technology also brings. And this is one problem, I think. And I don't know, but blockchain in general is a technology for an environment where trust isn't given. So it's for trustless environments. And I'm not really sure we have some kind of a trustworthy environment here, right? Because I trust my bank because I have my money there somehow. I trust the government because otherwise I wouldn't maybe live in Austria. So maybe not to 100%, but maybe to good enough levels so that blockchain isn't really needed here for most of the applications. And this is maybe some kind of a problem that people want to, with a lot of effort, bring blockchain into use cases that are working good enough without blockchain. So I don't know. This doesn't mean that I don't love this technology. I love blockchains, of course, but I think it's a tool, and you have to make use of this tool for the right situations and not for every situation. And this is what I a lot of times see, that people want to use blockchain just for the sake of using blockchain. So and also, and then I'm finished in a few words, I also think that the government has to play together with this technology. So we cannot exclude it completely, I think, or at least some kind of a central authority. Because when you think of having a flat like I'm sitting here with 30 square meters, and you could tokenize it, so making maybe 30 NFTs out of it, and this is cool because you can now trade the NFTs with very low fees when you compare it to notary services or something, and you can also split it up amongst different people, and you get the earnings and you split the earnings, and this is all cool. But I think you need some kind of a central authority or the government who says that this flat is now 30 NFTs, because then I make a contract and tomorrow make another contract and I make another, and we have duplicated and tripled the asset, and this is not what should happen. So there must be some kind of central authority in this scenario as well, and I think many use cases are demanding some kind of this central authority to bring some kind of physical assets into this digital world. I think this transition is what it demands to have a central authority still,
Okay, so in general, this sounds like we just need way more people to work on some kind of Web3 and blockchain apps and solutions, so that we step by step figure out more use cases.
Yes, somehow yes, I think, but we don't have to, or I think it's wrong to think that we can come to a Web3 world without having any central authorities. So this is, I think they are still part of the game, even if we don't like it. So as I said, to bring the flat into the blockchain, who says that that's or who prevents me from doing it twice when it's my flat, So I think this is some kind of, you won't get really rid of some kind of centrality. Maybe it's less, of course, because
Okay, so do you have some suggestions how we as as humans or as a society should deal with that? What should be some next steps? How can people participate in Web3 blockchain, or help to develop that further?
Yeah, good question. I think one of the key steps for bringing this technology further is that people are interested. Of course, this is a basic need when you learn something new, but you also have to, I think, at least for blockchain technology, you have to really be your own bank. So this technology empowers us to do so. And when I see so much people that don't have an own wallet, for example, and are relying on exchanges to be not fraud, like we saw recently, then what helps this? So which which problem does this technology then solve when we still don't make use of own responsibility when we have now the possibilities to do so, because we are still too lazy, or to have too much fear to mess things up, or I don't know. So I'm a little bit struggling with finding the right words, but this technology brings us a lot of power, and as many times we see that people don't really make use of it, and are then saying, oh, blockchain doesn't solve any problem. Yeah, of course, if you don't make use of your own responsibility, then you gave the responsibility to somebody else, and then it's the same as before, so I wish that people are some kind of curious to learn how this all works, and of course they math things up. So, but maybe they don't need to bring in all the assets they have. So maybe, I don't know, invest $10 in Bitcoin and set up an own wallet. And if you lose your keys, okay, you learned something and you lost $10, but you can then move on. And so I think a lot of people want to skip this part and simply let the funds on their on the exchanges, and then they are crying when somebody runs away with it.
Yeah, I think that's very, very nice closing words, actually. Then, how may people, or where may people find you, and how can people eventually support you?
So basically, I'm everywhere. I'm, of course, in Austria. You can find me in Austria. And on the online world, you can find me most likely on LinkedIn, because as I said at the beginning, I play this game for being a personal brand. I'm also on Twitter, and I have all the other messenger and email things set up. So the best link to reach all the other links is my Linktree link, and it's Linktree/Piho, so for Peter Holzer, so the first two letters of my first and my last name. So PEHO, and there is everything else linked. So my personal websites, my company website, my all the other links. And you can reach out at any time. So if there is any listener who has any question concerning Web3, blockchain, NFT, being a freelancer, making sales, trying to be a personal brand, and all those other topics we talked about, then just reach out and I'm happy to answer it.
Cool. Then thank you for providing that help and giving insights to your work.
Many thanks also to you, Sam, for having me. It was a lot of fun talking to you. Have a nice day.
Thank you for taking part in this Never Employed chat. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interviews with business owners and investors, or simply listen to the audio version in your favorite podcast directory. Make sure to follow me on all your preferred social media platforms, so that you never miss life-changing business tips. You find me on every platform with the account name samhartmann.com. Start a business, become successful, and tell me about it. See you next time.